1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We on.
I love it. Espanol. Ah, muy bien.
Ay.
Hola.
It's like, I don't know what just happened.
I don't know either.
Oh, snap. All right. Well, welcome, ladies. Welcome back to another session.
Hi.
How's everybody doing today?
Buddy, I am Irie.
Good.
Mucho trabajo. Let me stop. What?
Lisa, what you drinking over there? I need some of that.
Exactly.
That's what
Listen.
I need. I need a little bit of what's in the cup tonight.
I'm drinking whatever Terry got us drinking. That's what I'm drinking.
Me too.
Well, I'll tell you what. You're drinking tonight a Trinidad rum punch.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
That rum punch now.
Yes.
Nice.
A Trinidad rum punch. They have many rum punch recipes and speculated origins, but Trinidad rum punch is it. Mm-hmm. So people make it, everybody puts their own little whatever it is into it. However, it's 1 cup of raw sugar, a half a cup of water, 1 tablespoon of the Angostura Bitters, 2 to 2.5 cups of dark rum, a half a cup of lime juice, and a half a cup of citrus juice of choice. And that is the Trinidad rum.
That's a good recipe right there.
A very delicious recipe. Very delicious. Thank you so much, Terry. So that will be our drink for this episode. And ladies, so what we're going to be talking about this episode, we're going to be talking about, did he fall in love with her or did he fall in love with the checklist?
Oh, you're going to need a rum punch for this.
Yes. So grab your drinks.
conCOCKted. You're listening to Unfiltered Lyman with BLT. Every week, we will reflect on our journeys on trying to navigate between our parents' traditional culture versus American culture. We are your hosts,
Bertide,
Lisa,
and Terry.
No one's talking, so let's get unfiltered. All right, ladies. So yeah, I brought this subject up today because I wanted us to talk on the infamous, because there's so many of our sisters out here that are single. There's so many of our brothers that are out here that are single, and for some reason no one can't find each other. So I wanted us to talk about do men fall in love with her or the checklist? And why I say that is that we know men initially as hunters, right? So they are hunters, and they will court us and hunt us down, get us right where they want us. But then when it comes time, a couple months pass by, a year pass by, 5 years pass by, 10 years pass by, no ring, no nothing. And then it's like, okay, well, you hunted me down. Now you have me. And it's like, oh, well, wait, hold up. I gotta, I don't know. Why you pressuring me? You trying to trap me? You giving me an ultimatum?
That's a trap.
What in the what is going on, right?
That's the question of the day.
I don't know. So, ladies, what's your thoughts on that? I know that's loaded, right? That was a loaded one.
Let me take a sip of this Trinidad rum punch. Let me take a couple of shots back to the head before. How do we start, Terry? You know what? Maybe we need something stronger than this rum punch for this question.
I'm just saying, though. I feel like it's a vicious cycle. I just feel like it's a vicious cycle.
Is it because I feel like are women emotional? Are we just emotional and men are just not emotional that way? So we put so much emotion into thinking okay, my emotions are running high. Like you said, it's been 2 years or it's been this one. So we're going all based on emotion, and men, I don't feel at times put the emotions aspect in there as we do. So for me, I may feel like that's one thing, that we're emotional, they're not, and that's where the difference is in how we look at the perspective of falling in love. You know what I mean? Not so much. It's not so much like, I feel like we have a checklist for what we want in a man, but I don't think we have a checklist of, well, I mean, I can't say that because I did have a cousin. She gonna know who she is, but hey, it is what it is. It's the truth. She had a checklist. She's like, I want to get married by the time I'm this age. And at the time she was dating somebody, and I go, well, what if he doesn't propose to you? And she's like, well, I'm going to break up with him, and then by this time I'm going to be married. I was like, well, you can't be with somebody for 2 years, then say if they don't propose to you by this time, you're going to break up with them, but still get married or be engaged like less than a year later. I was like, what the F? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I don't know. I feel like it's emotional for us and not for men. That's my thought. That's my one thought.
I'm jumping in with all my clothes on right now.
For a change.
Please, thank you. Now, by the end of the episode, she might, it might not be all on, but hey, thank you for starting out. Thank you for starting out with the clothes on, Terry. We appreciate it.
Yes, carry on.
Okay, so let me expound on the men are hunters and why we wait. If a woman is waiting more than a year and a half, we're talking about 5 years, 10 years, in hopes that this man is going to marry, that a lot of times is not a reality. And hear me when I say, because if you notice, I know we've all heard and seen the relationships where the woman is just, he's stringing her along for 10 years, and then, you know what? Then she decides to put her foot down, and then they break up, and then guess what? He finds somebody 6 months later, he's married.
Oh, man. I feel like, oh my God, I feel like we've heard that a quarter dozen times for each of us.
Well, again, because men know if they are the one. They do. They do. They know. Yep. So if we as women do not hold them accountable and say, whoa, listen, my plan is I would like to get married within a year or whatever time frame. And if that's not what you want to do, then you need to get off this bus right now.
But they don't do that, Terry. Let's be realistic. They don't. And I got a story for that because
who doesn't?
I feel like there was a lady I work with, and she was saying one of her very good friends met this guy, and this is a church setting. So I'm using the church setting because a lot of times people feel like people in the church, you know what I'm saying, their mind right. So this girl was like, I'm going to follow Christ. I'm going to do things the right way. I want to get married, blah, blah, blah. She's dating this guy, right? They dated for like 2 years. She was like, I'm not going to sleep with you. We're going to do this, the godly way, right? And then after like maybe a year and a half, the guy was doing everything to show her like, I'm committed, right? She slept with him. Not too long after that, they broke up, right? He met somebody, and like you just said, not even 6 months later, he got married. So I feel like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because you could come in with your plans to say, this is what I want, and a man will listen to that. But if his goals and intention is like, I just want to fuck, I could tell you,
that pisses me off.
But you're right. If that is his goals and his intention, then that's fine. So when we having that round table discussion, and I say, listen, my plan is I want to be married, and you say my plan is I want to screw, then we're not on the same page. But that's what I'm saying.
They don't tell you that. That's my thing. If
they're not being transparent.
Yes,
they're not being
that's
transparent
what I'm saying.
in the beginning.
Like if somebody is telling you, I'm not church with you, you want the bull. Because the thing is, most of the time, women, we stay in relationship. Either sometimes, yes, we're delusional, right? We don't look at the signs. But I feel like sometimes men like co-sign because they want what they want, but they're not telling you. Like, you could come in, because I have a girlfriend of mine. When you meet her, she dates guys. She tells them, this is my plan. She doesn't, you understand what I'm saying? She's very honest and open. But the guys that she's communicating that with, they're like, oh yeah, me too. That's what I want. I want to start a family. I want this. What you want is what I want. And then it's like, then 6 months later, they sleep with her or whatever, and that's not really what they want. Like, you find out that they got other girls, they have all this other stuff, so you could have the conversation, but at the end of the day, they're going to do what they want to do, is my thing.
Again. You're absolutely correct. However, there are signs that we as women tend to always turn a blind eye to. I'm telling you. Because there's things that they drop and there's things that they say that we turn a blind eye to because we want to hear what we want to hear. It is the truth.
Absolutely.
It happens to every woman. Okay?
Exactly.
So and you know, so I am not it's happened to me. I've seen it done.
Ladies and gentlemen, she's taking her clothes off. Ladies and gentlemen, she's taking her clothes off. She's taking her clothes off.
It's the rum. The rum. What?
Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
When people
but do you feel that? But let me ask you this. So you make a good point, and I absolutely agree with you, right? So my thing is, and I think it goes back, and I know we're digressing from this, falling in love with the checklist, right? But the thing is, let's say you do have your checklist, right? And we're emotionally, because I feel like that's where emotionally invested comes in. So if you're with somebody, you meet the person, and then you become, because again, we fall emotionally with the person, right? And the signs may be there, but I'm already emotionally connected to you. So I'm going to ignore certain things, right? I'm going to not look at this because I'm emotionally connected. So I may overlook certain things because, again, you're still telling me that that's what you want. You're still telling me, okay, yeah, babe, because you're doing check-ins. Yeah, babe, I still want that. I still want to marry you. I still want this and I still want that, because sometimes that happens. So you may not want to look at, I think that's where we're messed up, because sometimes I feel like, even though we overlook certain signs, but sometimes you communicate, you want to trust what people tell you. And sometimes what they tell you, it doesn't match, even though like the action. But sometimes, you know, I feel like in relationships, sometimes you doubt yourself a lot, because even though we have our women intuition and all this other stuff, but then you're like, but that's not what they're saying. So I know their action is saying that, but their words are saying that. So which one is true? You understand what I'm saying? Like, for me, that's what I feel.
The actions and the words have to be meeting each other. They have to. If they do not line up, something is not right. So if you're telling me one thing, but you're showing me something different, that's when we as women have to hold ourselves accountable and say, whoa, hold up. You told me yesterday X, Y, and Z. Today, you're telling me but today you're doing A, B, and C. It does not.
Which it happens sometimes.
So when that happens,
that's when you gotta leave.
Exactly. Because if we're not bringing it to the forefront and be like, whoa, and we just, again, turn the blind eye, it's a free-for-all. So now guess what? He continues to do it because you didn't say anything about it. And then when you get so deep into it, and then he throws in your face, well, you didn't say nothing the first time. He's right. He's absolutely right.
So let me ask you this, though, because nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. You're never going to find that person that is perfect, right? So what if this person is just not where you are, because we're not always at the same time and the same page, right? So
I believe that we were never at the same place at the same time.
Yeah, so let's say his action right now may not be where you want it to be, but he's, you know, got good potential, or he works hard, or whatever. There are certain things, right? Again, you got this checklist, right? And all this, but the guy is like a good guy. Like, you know, like, what do? You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like as women. Sometimes we fall. I mean, I know they say that he fall in love. Do we fall in love with potential?
I think so. I think so.
Okay, there's the list that we have as women, right? And you know what your top, let's just hypothetically say your list is 10 things long. 10 standard things that you're looking for, okay? If he has at least your top 3 to 5, those are the strong ones right there. Everything else you could be able to work with. So if he's a really great guy, but he doesn't like to wash dishes or he's sloppy, those are small things compared to a bigger thing that he's a really nice guy, but he don't want to work. Come on now.
Yeah.
Or what if he's not ready to get married? Like that's a big one. You're ready to get married, and he's not ready to get married. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't want to get married. He's just not at the place where he's like.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Lisa.
You might have to take that L.
This is what I'm saying. Okay, so let me ask you this question. I equate relationships to work. So if you at a job and you know you're ready to move up and you've been busting your behind and all the things that's on the checklist that you need to get to that next level, you've been doing and exceeding, and your boss does not want to put you there, what do? Do you stay?
Find a new job.
Or do you...
Oh, hold on. I know it's easier said than done, but how many people say, no, I'm just saying, how many people, because of circumstances, because the thing is, it's scary to say, yo, I've been at this job, I know what I'm doing, and maybe this boss is not going to stay there, and why am I going to jeopardize this good thing that I have going on? I put in the work, I understand, but the thing is, some people are like, you know what? F it. I'm not going to risk trying to go out there starting all the way from the bottom to now work all that out again. Nah, I'm good. I'm going to take, I'm just being honest. And some people do that in a relationship. They're like, I don't want to start over to do all that.
Oh, I think that happens a lot.
Okay.
I think that happens a lot, but we have to yeah, anyway, sorry, go ahead, Terry.
No. We have to what, Lisa?
I lost my train of thought. That's what happened.
It's the rum punch, people.
It's the rum punch.
You have to decide as an individual exactly what you want in your life, what you're putting up with, what you're not going to put up with. So if you feel that you put in all this work and he's a nice guy, he's a nice person, and he has the potential, and maybe one day, he'll come out of that and he'll say something, he'll pop the question, that's a chance you're going to have to take. However, on the back end of that, if that doesn't progress the way that you want it to, then what happens? Then you've lost all this time. To guess what? To have to still start over again. 10 years as opposed to 2 years.
And let me tell you, you're going to be salty. You're going to be salty.
You're going to be tight. Because now you have invested yourself into this person who is not getting up off his ass to be able to say, to man up. And you can't make him man up. So guess what? Here we are 10 years later, and you now you've had it. Now you want to leave, and then you got to say to yourself, now I got to start all over again.
Yep.
True. But I feel
then we out here slashing tires.
But I feel like isn't that a chance we take to be in a relationship? Because if that's the case, then we wouldn't be with nobody. We wouldn't date. We wouldn't get married. I'm just being honest.
Well, yeah, and believe it or not, there's a lot of.
You take
I don't want to say a lot. It's a risk. But I'm going to say this. There's not a lot, but I do know a few men out there who won't even take the risk of dating because they themselves have their own checklist as well. So just like we have a checklist, they have a checklist also too. So it's yes, I think, and to get back to the list situation, I know us women, we have a biological clock. I was listening to Steve Harvey the other day, and he said something that kind of stuck to me. He's like, women have a biological clock, but men have a financial clock.
They do.
And I think that is something, and I'm going to speak for myself, I feel like I did not learn that until later in life. Whereas from young little girls, we know we got a biological clock. From little girls, we play with dolls and toys and house and Barbie and Ken. You know what I mean? And from young, it's like you pushing a little baby carriage and you taught from young, you're going to grow up, get married, have a family. This is what you aspire to. I know we talked about this last season in a different episode. this is what you aspire to. But the little boys are busy playing with toys and G.I. Joe, running around, jumping out of trees and stuff like that. No one's having a conversation with them like, okay, you need to also prepare in life. You want to grow up, have a family, and have kids, have those aspirations. It's a man that needs to be a provider. Now, when I say they have a financial clock, most men, their checklist, they have to have their career. It has to be exactly where they want it to be in their mind. Their bank account has to look exactly the way that they want to when they're ready to get married. You know what I mean? They have to have their home or ready to purchase a home. They have to have all these things lined up, right? And then it's like, okay, that's what happens to the man that been with the woman for 10 years, right? Getting all these things together and the credit and all of that stuff. And then when the next chick comes along 6 months later, he goes ahead and get married. Why? First of all, he knows the pain of what it feels like that he had somebody for 10 years, okay? That didn't work. But he wasn't really to marry her because he didn't have his checklist. So now by the time 6 months later comes along and this other chick is here, yo, my checklist is here, let me go help and marry her. So I don't have to feel left like I did the last time. So we have a biological clock and they have a financial clock.
But so, Lisa, you're absolutely correct. I have a friend that did that same exact thing. He was in a relationship. He pulled out of the relationship and he said, I have to get myself together. And he went,
I respect that. And that is the thing I feel like more people need to do. Yo, just step out of it. I will respect you more.
Yeah. He pulled back. But at the time, she couldn't understand that. So he pulled out. He went. He got himself together. He solidified his job, got the stability, got a good job. Then he got a home. Okay. And then he was able to, be the man that he wanted to be, to provide for a woman to share a home with so that they could have a life together.
So the real question is, did he go back and get the other girl that he was with? He left?
He went back and got the other girl, but she was not ready. She was all over the place.
Oh, what the fuck?
Wait a minute, but she was all over the place. So he went and did his thing, found somebody else, he got married to her, and then they got divorced. It didn't work out.
All right. Well, great talk, ladies. That's it for this episode. And
but that's the thing, though. Let me ask you this, though. So, and it's weird because I'm listening, and you're right, because I remember my brother-in-law, got rest his soul. He used to say, even when you're in relationship, men are funny creatures that way. Is that if they're focusing on a project, they could be married to you in a relationship to you, they will tune you out. And it's nothing disrespectful, because I don't know if it's because they can't multitask like women do, but it's the understanding. So the thing is, I know we talked about it a lot, is the fact that, are we going in to the fact that, okay, he has this financial checklist, there's nothing wrong with that. But is our perspective is we don't understand what their financial checklist is? Is that why we're getting impatient? Because we're looking at our perspective is, well, you might have this that you need to do, but I have my list. So the thing is, I could care less about your financial check. I mean, that's none of my concern, because I have my biological clock. I need to have XYZ, right? I need to be married and have children and all this stuff. And I mean, yeah, you're telling me about this checklist you have, but go ahead.
No, but let me tell you what, B, to answer the question, you know what the problem is? Us women are telling from day one, we have a biological clock. I want to be married by this time. I such and such and such. Most men, when they have their financial checklist, they're not talking about that. They're not talking. That's where the problem is. Because if you come and you talk to me from the jump that you have a financial checklist, that a checklist you need to go through, and this is where you need to feel comfortable, and we have that in the beginning, just like Terry said, if we sat down in the beginning and had this conversation, then we'd be good. I know someone else, I'm not gonna say who they are, I know someone else, it got into the point, they were together for a long time, it got to the point like, yo, I'm out because I don't know what you're doing. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait, This is what I'm doing. Here's my financial checklist, and here's this, and the credit score, and the bank account, and the such and such. But why did it have to get to that point?
Because men don't.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they don't. But that's the thing, though. They don't communicate. Unfortunately, I'm not making excuses. I'm just thinking, again, we're looking at it from our perspective, understanding that men or women are different. So if I'm in a relationship with a man, right? And the thing is, when I first meet you, I don't know you to tell you, like us women, we go in. Men are more, I feel, like they're going to know what type of woman you are, but they're not coming to you with all of that. Like, I feel like how we do a lot of times. You understand what I'm saying? Like they have to, again, hunters, right? Look at your prey, look at how you move, look at all, because that's how, if you look at documentaries of lions, they don't just pounce on their prey. They look at your tactics. They look at the best time to strike. They look at all this stuff before they just jump. We women, we just like, yo, damn, all of that. We don't do all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we like, look, you're nice, whatever, but this is where I am, this is where I am. Men are not like that, though.
Mm-hmm.
From the jump.
And that's fine. And that's fine, right? So, getting back to the question, did he fall in love with her, or it's the checklist, right?
It depends on where he is in life.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that answer is going to come. Because if he's in that part of his life where he has his business together, it's the checklist.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's fine. But the thing is, moving forward, we need to communicate that from the jump. Mm-hmm. That's where all the lost time is. Yeah. All the lost time is because you're not communicating that. Shit got to hit the fan first. Shit got to hit the fan first for you to be like, oh. You know what I mean? And not to put my business out there, but I'm going to, I'm just going to jump out there and expose myself.
Ooh, let me take a sip. Exposure. Let me take a sip. Exposure.
I'm not the only one. See, I jumped in with clothes on. She jumped in with nothing. Go ahead, Lisa.
Just to talk about a past relationship. Yeah, the years were put in, right? The engagement was there. And then the shit hit the fan, right? So months later, I get a letter, and it's listed out in the letter, oh, I didn't feel comfortable because I wasn't financially where I was. I didn't have the finances, whatever. I didn't feel comfortable with you holding everything down. Why the blood clot you ain't say that from the beginning? Why wait till shit hits the fan? Why do you blow up everything? Why does, you know what I'm saying? So it goes back to, I just feel like we need to, it's two things. Number one, I feel like little boys from young need to also be groomed and talked about, not only financially, but taking care, growing up, having family, getting married. That also needs to be instilled in them. And number two, be transparent up front. If you really not where you want to be, or you have your checklist of and you're just in here to have a good time, say you're here to have a good time. I respect that. And shame on the people out there who are trying to change people's mind. Number one, that ixnay. Yeah. Okay. Oh shit! What?
I just know there's a couple of guy friends when you talk to men. What you're saying is all gravy, Lisa, and it makes sense in a perfect world where everybody got $1 million, everybody's living large. That makes total sense. But when you talk to guys, if they meet, because the new thing I feel is quality men and quality women, and they feel like how Terry just said, when they see you, they know that you're a booty call, they know that you are wifey material or girlfriend material, right? So if they feel like, okay, I met you, Lisa, and I know she's wifey material, but I know that's what she is, right? But the thing is, I'm not where I want to be, but I want to get with Lisa. I'm not gonna be like, yo, because I know you wifey material, so I know if I come to you and I'm like, yo, all I just want to do is have fun, you wifey material, you're gonna be like, no, Negro, no, that's not me. So the thing is, they're not gonna take that chance. And I have conversation with a lot of men. They will tell you they will not do that because they want what they want. So it's all gravy what you're saying, but they're not doing that because guess what? It's all a game. I can tell you what you want to hear because I just want to fuck. I just want to have a good time. But I think if I come to you that way, knowing the woman that you are, you're not going to give me a chance. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the risk and be like, you know what? That's just I'm just being honest in conversation that I have with guy friends of mine. They just be like, look here now. I'm gonna need y'all to understand this game, and unfortunately,
okay.
But even if they say that, I still stand on his actions. You have to watch his actions and listen to what he says, because
that's true.
A lot of it is in what he said. It's in the details. And if you don't know, one thing I have learned over the years is the listening part, because I listen, because men are great with play on words. They are great with play on words, and they are great for saying, well, I didn't say that. But see, we take it as one thing, and how they said it is another thing. So that part right there, I listen very carefully. Wait. So that's why I have to break down and say, okay, well, what did you mean when you said such and such and such? Because I want to be clear on exactly what's going on here. We don't ask the questions. A lot of us women do not ask the questions because we are afraid to rock the boat. Fuck that.
Or we're afraid of not getting. We're afraid of not getting our biological clock list, Terry. We want to get married and have the children.
Then move to find the person. There is a man out there who does want the same thing, and that's where we have to move to. Why do we stay with this man because he's fine or because he's laying it down? Okay, that's all good and fine, and that's a portion of the relationship. Find somebody who's going to be invested in you and in we, and not just me.
Or his checklist, or it could be lust. He could be falling. It could be lust.
That's what I'm saying.
Lust.
That's what I'm saying. You only invested in me, and when I say me, I mean you selfishly. That's what I'm talking about. So we need to find people that's going to be invested in the we, in the relationship, and what he says is what he does.
Is it wrong though? Like, okay, so if we women go in, and I'm just throwing out there because I'm being on the opposite side all day tonight, people, as you can tell. So if we have our biological clock, right, and that's what is prompting us in relationship, right? We are guided by that, whatever our checklist is. Then why is it wrong for them to have their checklist in a way? And if the checklist is financial, right? Career, finances, or whatever, how do we mesh the two? You understand what I'm saying? To be aware, because the thing is, I feel like sometimes you meet people and he might not be there, but he's working on there, right? So the thing is, you have your list in there. So how do you match the two? Do you wait? You understand what I'm saying? Like, let's say he comes to you and he's like, you know what? I'm working on this, but I don't have all the details or stepped together or whatever, but I do have this financial list. So, and it's going to take me, let's say he tells you it may take him 3-4 years to get this thing because that takes time. What are you doing?
Again, I respect that, and that tells me I need to go back in the kitchen and make sure my shit is straight.
There you go.
I better go back in the kitchen, use that time, cook up whatever I need to cook up, so that when it does come to that point, then you become the power couple, right? Because y'all are both doing the damn thing.
That is very true.
Yeah.
What else?
It's very, very true. But you have, like Lisa said, you got to make sure your business is on point too.
You better make sure your business,
that, you got to make sure that you could come to the table and you could be like, bam, I'm coming to the table with this. What are you coming to the table with?
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of women out there that say, my biological clock, the man got to be making this, he got to be doing this, he got to be doing that. But meanwhile, they don't got shit going on for themselves.
Exactly.
But if he has the checklist, so let's say he goes through the checklist, right? He gets the finance and all this stuff, and he just wants a trophy wife.
Thank you. There's a whole lot of that going on too.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
Lot.
There's nothing wrong with that. Wait.
Well,
because if he's falling, like he's not falling in love. So let me put it another way, right? He did the list, right? He worked and did the checklist. And we're talking about a person, because we women fall in love with the person, I feel, sometimes, most of the time.
Yes, most of the time,
But we're saying men fall in love with their checklist, right? So the
and
thing
what they
is,
see with their eyes, and what they see with their eyes.
Yeah. So my
then,
go ahead, Lisa.
Then the next thing is it leads to the trophy wife, because now you got the checklist. Now then it's the trophy wife, because there's nothing else at this point.
But if that is what he wants, a trophy wife, and think about this. Okay, so if that's what he goes and he's working towards, then what's wrong with the trophy wife?
Because the question is, if you meet a man and he goes to the checklist, you want to know, are you loving me? The question is, are you loving me for me? Or now you got all your stuff, so I need a wife to be at home cooking my food. I need a wife to be bearing me babies. Women, I
need a wife to go and show off at these business meetings too.
Yeah, so the thing is he falling in love with you, or now there's kind of like a spot to fulfill, okay, I got all this stuff. And most of the time when men get all this stuff, they can't be single. They can't be like, because they're trying to also move up that ladder. Because I know a lot of businessmen, when it comes to a certain level in their career, doctors or whatever, you can't be a certain age and you walk up and being here with no wife and no family. There's certain careers, being married and having that trophy wife and the 2.5 kids and the dog and all that, it looks good for your career. So the thing is, are you choosing based on spiritual, like, okay, I know this woman, or just like, you know what? It's the next step. So
the portfolio got to look good, Terry. The portfolio.
Why are you looking puzzled?
On all
Why are you
levels.
looking puzzled? Why are you looking puzzled?
I'm not looking puzzled. What I am saying is, if he is working, if he's working to build himself up, and then he decides that he wants to get this trophy wife, what I am saying is, if that is what's on your checklist, that's fine. However, because again, it's all about now he's gotten everything, so now he has this look to maintain. Okay, so I'm making all this money. I'm living in this big house. I brought this goddess in here, and she just popped out to, like you said, 2.5 children. They got the dog, the cat, the mouse, everybody in the house.
The mouse.
But the whole thing is, when you're talking more in depth, that is just for show. Because like you said, it's the trophy wife.
So it's the checklist. So that's what we're saying. So he's in love with the checklist, not in love with her and that perspective.
He ain't in love with her. No.
Right. Because he loves the way, he loves what is happening, how he loves what the facade he has put on, I should say. The portfolio. So all that image that he has put up there to make it look perfect, the perfection, that happy family, that's what he likes, because he feels good about himself. However, those trophy wives, they don't last long. Those relationships do not last long. We all know that to be true. Because how many men do we know that have these trophy wives and it lasts forever and ever? No.
It becomes an arrangement. It becomes an arrangement.
Okay. Let's take Denzel and his wife. Pauletta. Okay. Denzel and his wife Pauletta have been married for eons. Okay. She was married to him when he wasn't even the big, oh my God, Denzel Washington. However, he had a checklist, I'm sure of, and she checked off the boxes. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, that's how their relationship was able to move. And not only that, but she gave him the stability that he needed for him to go to the next level. He will not divorce her or separate from her, because you know why? She has been the foundation. And there are some relationships that are like that. Yes, she was on the checklist. Okay, she fit the checklist. Okay, she did everything for the checklist. Guess what? Perfect relationship.
But no, hold on. Yes, please, hold on. Because we started out
rewind
saying,
and come again.
Yes, because the thing is, even though she was the foundation, they've had issues in their marriage. So then, based on what you said before, if we rewind the tape, you're saying you're not waiting 10 years. So the thing is, we also have to take into perspective. We're looking at the end result of Denzel and Pauletta, right? The foundation of, guess what? He wasn't Denzel that was making millions. He wasn't. So that again goes back to, as women, do we build that foundation and stick it out to be able to years later be in the position of a Pauletta? Because the thing is, if we are saying, okay, we know this is what we want, but he's not the Denzel yet that's here today, we would be like looking at it like, wait a minute. Well, I know he has this checklist. I know he has potential, but that's where the question is, do you wait or do you leave? Because that's a tough situation to be in.
But wait a minute. She didn't wait for years before he popped the question. He popped the question way before, when he was just Den. He wasn't even Denzel at the time.
Did you just call him Den?
Yeah.
Did you say when he was Den?
She go way back with them. But the thing is, even when you're married, there was no way she knew if he was going to be successful or not.
No, she did not.
No, she did not. But guess what? They both had what they both had. They both loved each other. Okay?
So he fell in love with her. He fell in love with her.
Exactly.
He did not fall in love with the checklist.
Right.
That's what it is. No, so I just want to not to, I'm just letting you know. You said that he had a checklist. No, he didn't fall in love with the checklist. He fell in love with her.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, then.
The man that falls in love with the checklist is the man who's like, nah, I got stuff to do over here, and let me get my stuff together.
Is that the trophy wife?
And then he ended up with the trophy wife and meet some chick, and 6 months later they married. No. So who else we know that's got a trophy wife? I mean, we out here, Denzi, D Money,
So what else would constitute like a man, ladies, in your opinion, Easy, do you think like they're falling in love with either her or the checklist? Like, what are some signs out there?
I'm trying to think of somebody right now who fell in love with the trophy wife and the checklist. Because we gave an example right now, Denzel Washington. He fell in love with her. So who do we know? Because I feel like
almost every Hollywood couple that's been divorced. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. No.
Oh shit.
What about the whole Brad, Jen, and Angelina Jolie? That triangle.
That was lust. Wait a minute.
But he married Angela.
Yeah, he did.
He did marry her. He strung Jen along and he didn't marry her. Then he...
No. They got married.
Him and Jen was married?
Yes, they got married, yeah.
You sure
and it was something with the scandal of cheating, and then he left her and then married Angela Jolie. So, yeah, that was a bad example. Next. Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
But my thing is, again, even if you... so, that's too funny because I feel like, okay...
Oh, shoot.
Because I've heard interviews that goes back to he was in love with Angelina. Was it lustful love? But he was apparently smitten by her in past interviews when you hear about... You understand what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I feel like a woman could come in your life and you smitten and you lustful and all this other stuff. It goes back to, okay, and it didn't last 6 kids later. So my thing is, I don't know. I don't know that one.
That marriage outlasted the one that him and Jen had. Okay?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
With all those kids to boot, the ones they produced and the ones they adopted. Come on now. Even if it was lust in the beginning, for that long space of time and all that family they created,
it was love.
He loved,
Okay. So he fell in love with her. I'm just trying to give an example of falling in love with her and falling in love with a checklist. Anybody listen to some good stuff, pointers on falling in love with a checklist? Or I feel like there's so much with this, but I do feel like as women, we need to be more aware of that checklist and make the decision. You understand what I'm saying? Of determining like if he's really in love with you or if he's in love with the checklist, because you have to have the conversation, I think, at the end of the day. And there's nothing wrong with, I don't think there's anything wrong with the checklist as long as you guys communicate. And at the end of the day, you know, right now I'm focused on my checklist, but I really do love you and this is what I want. And this is, you know, it's going to take me this long, and you give the person a choice, right? Why are you looking at that?
That's your take, right? That's your wrap up take, right?
I think so.
I'm over here looking for an example of a trophy wife. I don't want to say this person's name, so I got to find somebody else. Maybe I'll just use Hugh Hefner.
Hugh Hefner had plenty trophies.
Yeah, he had plenty trophies. I didn't want to say the other person's name, 45. I didn't want to say his name. But yeah, we're going to go with Hugh Hefner because I was looking for an example of a trophy wife. Because, you know, we had Denzi.
The best example is the Obama. They were in love. He fell in love with...
That's another example. No, that's another example of love. I was looking for a trophy. We have no problem finding love. We trying to find trophies. Okay, we got Hugh Hefner.
Wow, why can't we think of, I mean...
what's this guy's name?
Wait a minute. Donald Trump and Melania. That right there?
That's what I said. I didn't want to say the name. I said 45.
She didn't hear the 45.
My bad.
Nah, she missed that part, yo.
Anybody
George
got
Clooney.
Any other...
George Clooney.
No, you think so?
Yep.
That's a trophy wife? Nah.
I don't think so, Lisa.
No.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Nah, I don't think so.
I look.
You know why? Okay, so my thing is, I'll give you why I don't think it is, because I feel like she came in at the same level he was in. Like she bad.
That's true. She's a lawyer or something. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Scratch the. I'll edit that part out. Okay. Let me go to the next person.
Yeah. Terry, what's your jewels tonight? Any jewels on falling in love? What should women look for? Falling in love with her or the checklist?
Here's the thing. My key thing, listen carefully, pay attention, because I'm telling you, people, not only men, but people tell you who they are. We just we don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, once you listen, you will be able to dissect, you would be able to dodge, you would be able to break down a lot of things because you're listening. If you're not listening and you glazing over or you hearing what you want to hear, you going down the wrong road, and you're going down the road where you're going to end up getting your feelings hurt, because it's going to come out, I said, this is what I said, and you didn't say nothing, or this is what I did, and you ain't. So don't get yourself wrong. Listen.
Yeah, you're right.
No, that was great.
That's true.
The next trophy wife, Anna Nicole Smith.
Okay.
She J. Howard Marshall. Mm-hmm.
That's the oil tycoon, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, that is a fun example.
She fit the bill, Terry. Did she fit the bill, Terry?
Yes, I mean she was what he was looking for. She was, pretty woman, nice body, everything like that, vibrant and all that. I mean, everything jiggling all over the place. Of course, what man wouldn't have his son out? That's perfect. That was his perfect trophy right there.
Jiggle, take a sip, folks, of the rum punch.
Take a sip, yes. And on that note, ladies, this was a great conversation. This is a good one. This was definitely a good one. I mean, I feel like this one could actually probably lead into other conversations, but...
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right, ladies. Everybody enjoys your drink. Enjoy the jewels by a wonderful Terry. And we're out. Thank you for joining us this week on Unfiltered Lyman with BLT. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and join our Facebook page. As always, subscribe to our show to catch every new episode. Leave us a review so we can continue to bring you fresh and exciting content. See you next Thursday, same time, same station. Unfiltered Lyman with BLT is edited and produced by Unfiltered Lyman with BLT.